Oh, we're live, Miss Vivi. Welcome, everyone.
I bet you wonder how I do. I'll try to make me.
Is this episode 12 or episode 11?
I know. Oh, my goodness. Wait a second. I got you on trying to. There we go. Trying to do some promotion to get some people on because this is such an important show. It really is. Very, very exciting. There we go.
Yes, we have a very special guest.
We do. But the topic is just so critical.
Absolutely.
Tonight we are, hi everybody, welcome to Heard It Through the Grapevine. I'm Tanya Abreu. I'm here in South Florida in a town called Lake Worth. And my co-host, oh, you're on mute.
There you go. Sorry about that.
And my co-host is from
Rosarito Beach, Baja California, San Diego. San Diego. Binational.
Oh, yes, it's great. So we have had a busy week. As many of you know, Vivi and I are partners in an organization called IQM Global that sponsors our podcast. And we're very, very proud of our association with a product called Must Natural. And one of the things that happens is just by testimonial and by experience of people using grapeseed extract, muscadine in particular, grapeseed extract, and then just doing a lot of research, topics kind of float to the surface as being absolutely amazing what antioxidants can do for various chronic disease conditions. And tonight we're talking about autoimmune diseases. And what is fascinating is that there are millions affected by autoimmune diseases. In just a few moments, Vivi's going to walk us through all the different autoimmune diseases that there are. And I'm going to walk through a little bit of the theory. But it's very debilitating. And it usually, in almost all the cases, causes chronic pain, chronic fatigue, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, immobility, spasticity. It's really incredible headaches, migraine times 10. And I'm speaking so enthusiastically about it because 5 years ago and 4 years ago, I was diagnosed by two different neurologists as having MS. And I had too much other stuff going on. I had diabetes, and I just refused to acknowledge that. But I did. And I did so much research because I really couldn't. I had been through late stage cancer about 3 years prior. And they often said that cancer survivors can develop autoimmune diseases. And it was, terrible. I just said, okay, let me read everything I can about multiple sclerosis and, the lesions that they had found on my brain. And the reason being was that I was simply falling. And there would be times when I would try to pick something up. One time my laptop, which broke because it fell, where I would just shake and it would fall. So that's how I was diagnosed, along with really horrible headaches. And so I started down the path of autoimmune. And of course, once you tell somebody that you were diagnosed with it, people just come out of the woodwork. It's like buying a new car and you don't think anybody else has your Nissan Rogue, and then all of a sudden you see 50 of them. It's kind of like that with autoimmune. And my saving grace was that I found a real neurologist, an MD, not a complementary medicine doctor at all, who for the very first couple of months put me on, it was called Butterbur, an herb, to stop the headaches. And they did by relaxing the blood vessels in the brain. Scientifically proven. Look it up, guys. Anybody that gets headache, butter burr. Here, I'll type that in there so you guys can see it. And this neurologist said, Tanya, I want you to do butter burr. And then after that happened, I said, I'm not doing prednisone anymore. I'm not doing these drugs that make me gain weight, feel like a monster, all these things. There has to be other things like butter burr. So that's my own history. And we're coming here today to talk about a little bit of that, but more importantly, what this kind of myriad of chronic diseases are, and different approaches that not just manage the symptoms, but in some cases, and our special guest tonight will certainly talk about them, kind of put you in remission in a place where you feel healthier than you did before. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn this over to my co-host, Vivi, and let her talk about what autoimmune diseases look like and name a few of them so that we're all kind of aware of what they are.
Thank you, T. And yes, I mean, bringing light to this is also dear to me because our guest is dear to me. She is family. And, you know, as well, we see each other as family, lifting each other up. And so this is truly, truly, to my heart, and then to the wellness journey that we're all in. So autoimmune diseases. And, you know, I can admit that I was not aware of a lot of things that are autoimmune. And I didn't realize when people said, you know, I have fibromyalgia, that's what it was. So this is also a big education piece for me. And it also takes me back a few years back when I started my youth development career, because my former director actually passed away of lupus at a very young age. And that was the first time that I encountered, knowing what this autoimmune disorder does to someone. And so that is, truly something that send me on this, path that I'm now. So some of the things that, we know now is that it does include many different ones, such as lupus. You spoke about multiple sclerosis and, some of the things that you experience with that. Type 1 diabetes, Parkinson's, fibromyalgia, which I also have encountered that a lot of the folks that I've talked to about fibromyalgia is that it's also very hard to diagnose. Often folks get misdiagnosed because it's really hard that a lot of the symptoms kind of mimic each other. So those are some of the things. And, chronic fatigue syndrome, which I wouldn't have thought that would be, part of this autoimmune disease. And 1 in 12 people and 1 in 9 women and 24 million Americans. Women are 8 times more likely to have these autoimmune diseases than breast cancer. So all of this, information is, truly important. 90% of Americans say they can't name a single autoimmune disease. And I think I've kind of fell into, that category because, again, education is also power, right? And we're gonna hear directly from our special guest today how that also set her on a path and a journey to really, discover self-healing in nature's garden in many different ways. So these are some of the autoimmune diseases that are out there. And, let us know what are some of your experiences and what do you know about, how does that affect you or a loved one and how can we help them?
Yes, and I see lots of people joining us, and that's very, very exciting. And we know that, even things like, arthritis, not osteoarthritis, but other types of chronic pain are also. So if you know anyone that's suffering from one of these, please share this podcast either now or later. Vivi, why don't you put up the next slide before we welcome our guest? There we go. Hope everyone is doing well. I see a lot of our Filipino partners are on. That's exciting. So I need to have this a little bit bigger. There we go. Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is what is autoimmune disease, and if you look at some standard definitions of it, they really all talk about it being a neurological condition where the body actually damages the nerve cells. Okay, and it can happen in various different ways. But some of the primary target areas of autoimmune disease, of course, we've heard about, well, you can actually, one of the ways that autoimmune disease is diagnosed is through MRIs and lesions on the brain and upper spinal cord. So we also have, and you can take a look, I can't really see them, Viv, I'm sorry. But the conditions that are underneath here sometimes can be really surprising. Multiple sclerosis, we know. What is that second one there?
Thyroid, you have the brain and the thyroid, Hashimoto's disease, Graves' disease,
Yeah, no, but what's the second one under the brain disease?
blood, leukemia, lupus. These are
No. It's like with a G.
with the GI tract.
No, under brain, honey, under brain. Autism. There's a couple. I mean, they're really beginning to think that things like autism have to do with autoimmune and the body attacking the neurological, the cells. Of course, blood diseases. You don't think of things like leukemia as an autoimmune disease, but it's proving more and more that it is. GI tract, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. These are all types of diseases where the body is not protecting its own cells and actually breaking them down. Nerves, I mean, one of the reasons why autoimmune diseases are so painful is because they're based in the nervous system.
Yeah.
Fibromyalgia, we hear about that a lot. It is based in the lungs. It causes shortness of breath. Because you're short on oxygen, all of your muscles hurt. You can't get out of bed. I have a girlfriend that fights this, and she didn't want to be on our podcast tonight, but she is off all of her medications with muscadine grapeseed extract. But she is also, what's that word? She's just very nervous that if she says something out loud, Providence will take it away from her. So she wants another couple of months of experience. Skin disorders, everything from eczema, psoriasis, all the body attacking its own cells. Muscle disorders, once again, fibromyalgia is under that. Bone disorders with the different arthritis that I was referring to. And before we really get into some therapies and what they might mean, I want to stop and say, we know that one of the primary benefits of antioxidants, right? You know, whether it's the U.S. government, dietary council that says the most important thing, boys and girls, is that you eat a diet rich in antioxidants. That's, then they say protein, then they say calcium, but antioxidants are first. And we, those of us that know the product Must Natural, know that our product is derived from 100% muscadine grape seed and skins, one of the top echelon, the premier source of bio food grade antioxidants that you can take. And so it is an awesome opportunity for me to stop and say, one of the things about autoimmune disorders, all of these, is the following. It's all about cells deteriorating. And we know that the way antioxidants work, right? We know this, is that they stop the cells from oxidation and breakdown. So there's articles, I didn't give you the links, but I can, on MS and grapeseed, where 70% of MS sufferers experienced moderate to outstanding symptom relief just by taking grapeseed extract, and not even muscadine, regular grapeseed and resveratrol. So this is really exciting stuff. So we'll get back to Must Natural, but no matter what you do or no matter who you know with an autoimmune disease, first and foremost line of natural defense is eating a diet high in antioxidants. All right, so I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
All right. Let me stop sharing that screen. So our guest is very special because she's not only related to me, she is my beautiful sister-in-law, and we need to pop her in here. I don't think she's added yet.
I'm here.
There she is. But she is also our eye partner. And so she is personally committed, to her wellness. And she, to me, is a warrior woman. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you Dominique Renesca. And sis, just tell us a little bit about yourself and why this topic really spoke to you, and what can you share with us about your experience?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Dominique Renesca. I am a mother, a wife of two, and also I have two beautiful children. And the topic really spoke to me today because it was about fighting life for your life. And I could tell you myself, as Mike is someone who knows that very well. Basically, around the time when I was trying to have our second child, I was diagnosed with lupus. And the funny thing is that they said when you have lupus, it normally appears on your first child. And a lot of things I already heard you guys covered was that what is autoimmune in general. And in general is all these I had to learn in a short period of time around the time that I was diagnosed. And it took me a very long time to be diagnosed because of the fact, like you guys said, it mimics many things. So autoimmune is basically a disease that attacks your healthy cells. And, it would attack them and like we said, I have SLE, which is a systematic lupus it's a weird erythematosus, they call it. Basically, it mimics everything, and everything that is within that list I've experienced, which were the joint pains. I felt the kidneys. I had the blood cells where I was always anemic. I had heart and lung issue. It was mostly attacking my lungs. Basically, I would get a lot of inflammation. I have a little picture of me where I actually was starting to get flare-ups. And what it looks like, my face, my whole body would swell up. I even show pictures of when I was off lupus. When I said off lupus, meaning like I wasn't flare up versus when I was flare up. You could see the difference in the size of pants I was wearing when I started dropping off the weights and all. I was getting scanned more than most people because mine was very aggressive. And what ended up happening is attacking my lungs, where I actually have tear on my lungs, and whenever I would have a headache, they would have to get me in as soon as possible to see if my lupus has moved to my brain. Because mine, there are different types of lupus. There is skin lupus where it only affects your skin, and there's kidneys where it would only attack your kidneys. Specific to me, it mimicked it all. Right now, you guys cannot see, but on my arms, I still have scars and markings. I used to have a hole under my chin, hole in my face, like I was a really, really bad smoker. The sun affected me, especially when I started doing the chemo medications that they gave me. Just like Tanya, I was on a lot of prednisones, hydrochloroquine, and I was taking these things intravenously. And on top of it, what made me feel like it was killing me on top of it is that when I was taking the drug, I had to be put to sleep just so I could live another day in order for me to take these drugs. They added more drugs onto my drugs because I remember when I was taking this intravenously, I could literally feel my heart, my lungs expanding and hurting me. And they said, hey, this is what we have for you right now. So they gave me Benadryl. They added another prescription to my medicine to basically help me live another day. And also I've experienced the arthritis, and you might not be able to see it on my hand. My joint is still straight all the way. And Tanya did mention with abrasions, they can tell that you had lupus. Me, it took them a very long time. Although I was pregnant, they couldn't see it. And even in my joint, I had a whole bunch of lesions, and I used to have to take chromosome shots on my feet and also on my joints. But I was getting blisters. I had black eye. At one point, my eyes even tore, and I could pretty much say I was blind in one eye. I was not allowed to drive. Basically, all my appointments, my mother-in-law had to take me.
I remember.
Yeah, and there was a very scary time for everyone. And I do want to share a picture because I think it's important to share journeys, right? Our journey.
Yeah.
And I think
I had the rashes, everything.
And your little one, Riri, another fighter.
And this is my daughter. She was born prematurely. Right here. And right there, what you're looking at is basically at some point I decided, okay, I need to fight and live for my kids, because this was not working for me. And unfortunately, an event happened in my life where my baby brother got into a motorcycle accident. I was the only one who was able to attend, to be by his bedside every day, because whenever you have someone in the hospital, you never want to leave them alone. You want to talk to them, even if while I was battling my own battles and I couldn't do much. I drove the 101 miles every day that I was able to, because my sister was working or my mom, to be by his side. And in the midst of all that, what ended up happening is that I lost my health insurance because I was working prior to being sick. And what ended up happening is that I already surpassed my FMLA benefits, and I couldn't stay on the insurance anymore where I was working. So I had to transition to my husband's insurance. And the mails just kept on piling at home because of the fact that I never got to it. I was too busy with my brother. When I got home, I was trying to take care of the kids. I was always too tired, however it was. Yeah, I tried to make it, and I end up losing the opportunity to even be on my husband's insurance. So there was nothing else I could do, because I no longer could afford those very expensive medications. Even when I looked into discount cards that were supposedly for these specific drugs. And, one drug might be 800, 300, 500. At some point you're not working one income. We just bought a house. We just had a new baby. We just bought a brand new car. So everything was falling apart. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I am the type of person to know that I like to fight. I'm a very strong woman. It was even hard for me to accept help from my husband when I had to go to the bathroom, because I had days I could not believe me, Dominique, very strong lady, played basketball, was ripped and did all these things. I could not get to the bathroom by myself. I'm like, that's not real. One thing that I could say that I'm very proud of is that with me being very resilient is that I refuse to get on a wheelchair. The only time I did get on a wheelchair is when I was leaving the hospital with my baby. And with me doing that, people became my support, whether it was my husband's shoulder to get to the car. I had to cover up, even in the summertime, I had to wear long sleeves. My skin was deteriorating because of the chloroquine, I think. My skin got lighter and really thin. A lot of things were happening to me. I had to wear shades all the time. I feel like I was being cooked by the sun and all that stuff. So with me making the decision to live, I start researching.
I'm going to interrupt
what you're
you.
looking right there
I'm
on
going to
the
interrupt
bottom
you
was
for a
my
second.
first
Dominique, one second. I want to interrupt you. Sweetheart, give me 1 second, because
Sure.
I want to stop you before you get into the research and the science, because you really are a scientist in so many ways. I admire you. But the time we were probably closest was the time when you would come down from Port
I
St.
have
Lucie.
pictures of these too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. To
Vivi,
get
can
in.
you post some-
Yeah. So I remember when you would come down to, I had a Medi Spa at the time where we did massage and we did a nutrition infusion. And you would walk in the door with your mother-in-law. And I would look at you and say, she's so beautiful, but she's getting so frail. And you would usually come the weekend between your treatments and get a massage and sit and talk. And I was so worried about you until
You took very good care of me, Tanya. I could say this. If this was my ghost coming back to talk to you, believe me, it was well needed and appreciated. Right here. This is one of our meetings when I came. I have a picture of when I was in the spa too that I brought you. Oh my God, you were my God on heaven. I mean, from heaven to earth. You were my angel.
Well,
you just don't know.
Thank you.
Little things.
But I do want to say that when you disappeared, so thank you for that, because I love you and I have loved you for years. But when you disappeared, I was so worried. I was so worried that you were like really critically ill. And then I heard about Jethro, your brother. And then I thought, oh my God, she's not gonna withstand this. I can't, And so I talked to your other brother and he said, I think she's doing okay. She's trying to find other options for treatment. I saw you.
I went to full research.
Well, you're going to talk about that in a minute, but I saw you at a fundraiser for your brother. And I couldn't believe it was the same woman. You had so much vitality and so much energy. And I remember saying, what happened? And you said, I stopped going to the doctors. Now I'm going to stop there because doctors, allopathic physicians have really helped me. But there's a certain moment that you kind of pivot and you look for other things. And I know that's what you're getting into now, but I wanted to tell our listeners that I saw this frail, pained. I mean, she was in so much pain. She needed a walker, but she didn't use it. Into this vibrant woman in the matter of several months. So now back to you, sweetheart. I just admire your work so much.
Thank you. Around the time that I disappeared, I was dealing with the others issues, and I kind of forgot about myself. And I would not realize that I needed help until I did lay down and I needed to get back to his hospital and I couldn't. And then even through that, I would bring my laptop with me to the hospital, get the codes to their Wi-Fi, and I was doing research on how to cure myself. At some point, I did find some good information, but unfortunately, with me just making this new home, new this and new, I could not afford the plane ticket as well as the money to go get. I mean, once you get there, you have to pay for a place to stay for, and also you have to pay for the treatment. So what I went on to doing is doing more research, and I come to find out that the true medicine is plant-based. And what ended up happening is that with me doing research, and the thing is that if you guys look, not too long ago, I made a post and I said that it is okay for Western medicine to work hand in hand with natural medicine. And there are so many ways we could work together. But I don't believe that Western medicine in some cases should be the first priority, the first action of healing. At some point, I had to stop. I had to find my true healing, because the Western medicine did not do it, and that's okay. There's not a one fit all for all. But at the same time, too, if we're going to look for healing, we have to go back to the origin, which is like Dr. Asha likes to say, which is mother's nature's garden. And as I was doing research and I'm starting to find all these plants, and like Tanya said, most of it was antioxidant and how to respond to the body. And the body talks to us every day. We just don't respond to it the way we should. For instance, we would be sick, and we lose our appetite, we continue to eat. Our body's telling us we shouldn't eat. It's telling you, please give me a break. Let me do what I know to do best to heal myself. Just like if you're going, it's just like the way I like to put it, especially when I'm talking to guys, is getting an oil change. In order for you to get an oil change, you have to take out the old things that are already hurting you to put in the newer things. If you see here, that's my cabinet that they're
Yes.
showing you.
That
I went
cabinet is
full
impressive.
blown crazy. Every
That's
plant
what
I
you get
found
the
that was
bottom
a
cabinet
lot
from,
of mushroom,
okay?
because a lot of people think that you cannot get. Until this day, this is how my cabinet in my kitchen, and it got worse, which means more plants that I've discovered. And right now, and also too, to get back to the antioxidant, I was getting more oxygen in my brain, because, and also I was always anemic. So that helped me a lot when I put a lot of a lot of antioxidant. And also to with me having lupus, I'm always thirsty, to the point that I believe it's mental. Why I say that? Because everyone will tell you, it doesn't matter where I go, I always go out with a gallon of water, because that was one of my first signs of me getting sick, and we did not know that I was sick. I was overly thirsty. I was always thirsty, and you're always dry. When I say dry, I'm talking about everything: my mouth,
Wow.
my eyes, and of lupus. That's what it does to you. And the way I was diagnosed, when I told you that it was very hard to be diagnosed, is that I was pregnant. I was actually having to go to my doctor every week, because, and I had to see a specialist. My fluid would never stay up high for enough for the baby to survive.
Right.
And I went to one doctor appointment particularly, and my, like I said, my mother-in-law, she, oh my God, she is my angel. She's been there. She doesn't know how much I appreciate how much she's done to me. She became her mom, she became my doctor, she became every shoulder that I leaned on. Everything she was there for. My mom was running a business, and my mom couldn't be there, and she came out of work and she was taking care of me. And we're sitting there, she's leaning. I remember she just came from work in the morning, and she had to take me to the doctor's appointment to see my OBGYN, just leaning back, and then they called my name. And as they called my name and I went to get up, I literally pulled up my weight, and I could not move off that chair. And then everyone got scared. Everyone came out of the office and in my doctor office space to come to the meeting room and say, "What do you mean by you can't get up?" I said, I cannot get up. She's like, "Dominique, are you sure you don't have lupus?" I'm like, "What is lupus?" So from there on is when we actually had a direction of going, and they did do an 8-panel test on me and find out indeed that I did have lupus. So I had to do all these research and
Mhm.
plans as really get me back to where I am, where I am not dependent on medication anymore. Right there, this was my very first negative. I circled it here. That was epic for me. It was a
Mhm.
proud moment. I was pretty much doing flip. I mean, to coming from an athlete, someone my muscles deteriorate, which I still feel till this day, where I'm still trying to build muscles, and I'm hoping this year my goal is to get in top shape as well as building muscle. But what happened is that if I'm doing push-ups, I still feel I what is it called? Contapello, whatever, where the bones, my so I don't know if you could see my I said ankle, also my ankle, but my wrist cannot support too much weight and stuff like that. So even doing push-up, it still hurts me. I could feel like I've lost a lot of muscle mass, which I did. And hopefully I can get back and get into that. Nowadays, one of the things that I do in my daily is, when they told me about it, it was a no-brainer for me, because right here, oh, where is it? Are you guys
There
able
it
to
is.
see this?
Yep.
This is, yeah, this is one of my to go. This is And when I say to go, it literally goes everywhere with me with my water. Even if I don't eat, because I do a lot of intermittent fasting, I use it as my food. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to use our medicine as food and food as our medicine. And I practice that very heavily. And I hope to stay like that and teach other people to teach people the same thing too. But what muscadine, even myself, and I spoke about that the other day, is that a lot of people take muscadine and says, well, I don't see it doing anything for me. I mean, at the same time too, believe me, I've had a lot of people who've had lupus, because it's all created a lupus community. People has the same thing. It's like, oh my God, I felt the same thing, where you become friends, and you, especially with having the internet now, you're able to connect with a lot of people through Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm in a lot of different groups with people with all types of diseases, their information as far as what we feel and stuff like that. So muscadine and grapes in general, I already knew. And basically this, I'm able to carry around with me instead of carrying like 20 different types of herbs, which I would normally do and I wouldn't mind. But with that, I kind of use it as a supplement where I take it as food. And excuse me, what I mean by that is that, especially that I do intermittent fasting, I have 3 of these and don't feel hungry. And I'm able to go all day and I'm able to meet it. For me, particularly, what I noticed that it did, I did know, I do have sleeping problems a lot of the times, but mostly I'm a very, very happy person. I'm a hyper person. I'm over the cloud type of happy person, full of energy. But within those energy, I didn't know that I was battling anxiety. I did not know that until I was taking this, to the point that I overwhelm myself and I bring myself thinking. And I was talking to my cousin, like telling me the same thing too. She was like, "Oh, I don't know what it was doing for me," and then she stopped. When she stopped sleeping. As soon as she stopped her muscadine, she stopped. She's like, "Oh my God, Dominique, this and that." And then me, what I noticed is that I was calmer. Not calmer that my high energy is not there, but I was calmer that I did not let the little things bother me anymore. Because, like, oh my God, I didn't get ready on time. Oh my God, I'm not off work yet. Oh my God, I'm not done. And then I would feel to the point that sometimes even your joint, and I know that I am in remission. I don't have any issues, but I notice this comes my little butt down. It's like, oh, whatever, it could get done. The laundry wasn't done today. Okay, I could do it tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I've had for me. I've had friends that I've introduced to it that told me their back pain is gone. I've had people, and my brother too, who was in the motorcycle accident. He had to be airlifted. He was in a coma for quite some time. He basically was in a very, and we have more pictures of him than we have of me. He was in a very bad stage. Basically, just imagine the police officer knocking at your door and told you, "I am sorry, your brother's dead." That's what they told my sister when she entered the door, because they didn't see how in the world he would survive. And well, and we thank the doctors very much, because of course, the plugged in and all that stuff played a big role. But at the same time too, a lot of people didn't think that my brother was going to make it. Like Tanya said, we had fundraisers for him. He was in the hospital for quite some time and had to learn how to re-walk, and and I was driving 101 mile one way every day to be with him, because we didn't know how this was turned. So when you're talking about antioxidant, it's putting oxygen back into the bloodstream as well as the brain. That is major, because first of all, for us to have life, we have to go 90 days, even 6 months without food. Certain, yeah, because I mean, even with my fasting, when I really, if you notice the difference in my weight right here, where I have the pants in front of me, this is me fasting for a month when I was like, I'm gonna do it, and it was very hard because I remember I did not tell my husband, I did not tell anybody because I didn't know what I was taking a leap of faith. I did not know what the turnout was going to be. And it's not that I did not believe, but I, I did not know if I would be able to go through. And I proved myself wrong that I was able to. I was more capable. And I'm not the only one. There are a lot of you guys right now who is watching this or on here or will share this. You have that we first have the willpower. If we if we choose to do it, we will do it. You know, and also too, it's okay to refuse certain things. If you choose to live, you will leave. If you seek healing, you will get it. And even with something as small as this, just one product, it could get you on your way. Believe me, like I said, I take this every day, and even my other herbs that I still do take well, but this one is in my back pocket. I could go all the way vitalize, and I'm not fatigued anymore. I don't have cramps. Like I have poor circulation. Even though like I'm drinking a lot of water, but this I could tell you the reason I stand behind it, and you can't tell me no wrong about it. Pretty much, it's because I know what this is, and also this is made of just muscadine seeds as well as the skin. A lot of people, I dare you guys to go ahead and research this. Look up seeds in general. Seeds in general are your B17s, which cure cancerous cells. Yes, I said that. I dare you to go to your Walgreens, to your Walmart, to your Target, CVS, wherever you may go. I dare you to find B17 on the shelf. Unless you know about it, you will not find B17 on the shelves. All right. There are other places you could find it. But here's what I know about muscadine seeds. Muscadine seeds are hand-picked. When I said hand-pick, I'm not saying that someone probably go in the vine and pick it up. That I don't know the detail in full. But what I'm saying is that these are made with only the golden as well as the bronze, excuse me, and the darkest. And you know what they say, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And not only that, the more potent it is. So with that, this product, you are getting only the best of the best product in there. You're not getting immature, you're not getting somewhat good or whatnot. You're getting the right grapes that are going to get you the most out of it. You could basically
And
say it.
can I stop for just a second, because I think there may be a couple of questions. But first of all, I want to honor you for knowing so much about muscadine and knowing so much about antioxidants. And I remember when you came on board with Vivi and I, you were able to educate us, as you're doing all of us right now, about how antioxidants really address a whole bunch of issues. Quality is important, but I wanted to stop for a minute because you touched on some things that I want to transfer that knowledge over again to the podcast and to people who are listening. You talked about intermittent fasting and healthy ways of eating. And I think that one of the things that I've been reading a lot about is just clean eating. And sometimes that involves detox. Sometimes that involves taking a rest from all food, not liquid. You can do some good juices or some, lemon waters and things, but resting your immune system, which by the way is in your stomach, resting your stomach so that it becomes stronger. But I want to go back to a couple of things that I've learned in my MS journey that is worth sharing. First of all, I don't have a cupboard like you, and never could I have a cupboard like you. I hate taking pills. I do. I just don't like it, and I never have. And I have my good friend, you all know, Dr. Alba, you know, when I was in all kinds of pain, she would come over and bring 4 bottles of different things. And it was like, okay. And if I took it once every 3 days, right? And I'm going to be honest. So when I discovered, you know, almost against my will, that this Must Natural or this muscadine actually worked as an anti-inflammatory on my back, as an antioxidant for my diabetes. And I just, you know, you talked about being calmer and more present and happier. That just happens when you have more blood going to your brain. You don't get headaches. You don't get fatigue that's not based on lack of sleep. And so for me, it was like, what? I can take 6 or 8 of these throughout the day, and that's really important. I can't tell you how many new eye partners I have that I talk to in 3 weeks, and I say, well, what's your story? And they say, well, it's okay. I think I have more energy. And I'll say, well, you take it every day, right? And they say, well, almost. Do you take it throughout the day? No, I just take it in the morning with my other vitamins. And it's like, whoa, I failed, right? I'm just learning. I'm only 7 months into this. So it's like, you said it, right? You have to eat it like a food. And when you eat it like a food, it stays in your bloodstream, fighting viruses, keeping your cells healthy, helping your insulin get to the organs, all those things. It's not magic, it's true science. And with any kind of autoimmune disease, but especially things like MS, lupus, fibromyalgia, the most important thing you can do is to get blood to your organs, blood to your brain, blood to your lungs, blood to your skin, blood everywhere. And there are 3 ways we know to do that: by eating an anti-inflammatory diet, so that your veins aren't swollen, so that your organs aren't swollen, so that your nerves aren't inflamed. And anti-inflammatory diets, one of the top anti-inflammatory foods is the grape, along with avocados, fatty fish. I mean, you guys can do the research. There's some key things on anti-inflammatory. We also know the evidence for antioxidants. You talked about it beautifully, right? And we know how strong muscadine grape is. And the last thing that we kind of separate out is that blood flow. Opening the veins, keeping the blood flowing really heals us on all levels. So I just think that, you know, instead of me having your cupboard there, what's really the difference is that I'm just much more consistent with Must Natural. And when Mike turned me on to the liquid, that was all over. I take 2 in the morning.
I know, me too.
I take 2 or 3 eye droppers during the day, and then I take 2 before I go to bed. And I've never felt better. You know, I've just never felt better. And when I went to Mexico the last time, I didn't bring enough, you know, and by the end of the trip, and when I got off the airplane, I had edema for the first time in a year. My feet were swollen. And I know why. I didn't have good blood flow because I kept jipping myself, even though I could have went to your new director shipment and took a bottle and sent you money for it. I didn't, because I didn't want to interrupt your beautiful business. But it's really important that we're consistent. So there are some questions.
Consistency in anything, you know?
Yeah.
If you want results at the gym, you gotta make sure you work out, you know, as often as it needs to. Of course, you need rest in between. Like you said, rest is very important in a lot of things. Like me, like I said, with the capsule, I carry it with me because, you know, whether there's heat or whatnot, I'm okay with it. With the liquid, I take it early morning and I take it before bedtime and stuff like that. And, you know, you want to keep it and preserve it right, you know, but even with my other plants, capsules, I like to make them because it's easier to swallow and you don't taste the bitterness of stuff. But even with this, you could sprinkle it on your kids' food and it doesn't taste as bad. I mean, I like the tea powder better because it's more grind down and they don't taste it. They don't feel any bitter, you know, like bites on them, little pebbles or however you want to call it. But, you know,
grits. My grandson calls it the grits.
Yeah, you know, you could throw these. Even if you don't want to carry the bottle, you could throw them in a Ziploc bag and put them in any size purse or even your back pocket. Unlike the extract, which I love, but I take it in the morning and, you know, we got to keep up with the temperature. But this goes wherever I go.
And I just want to add that, you know, every time we have a podcast or every time we talk about a certain topic, I sit here and I mindfully take everything in. And, you know, knowing what you went through, sis, and you know, people don't know, but we were pregnant almost around the same time. And Dominique did not want to share any of the hardships because she cared so much about my health that I wasn't, you know, aware of a lot of different things. How's Dominique doing? She's fine. She's fine because she cared so much about
I know. I didn't want you to put you through
everyone
stress.
else.
Yeah, I didn't want to put that on you.
You
Even
know,
a lot of my friends didn't know I was going through stuff because I didn't want anyone to feel sorry for me. You know, I didn't want that. I didn't want anyone to feel sorry for me or this and that. You know, so I did what I had to do, and I'm here. We're talking about it now. You know, so
this is also a testament to resilient women, to, you know, to also knowing that we don't have to do it by ourselves, that we can have a community of people, right? And now with IQMK, we have a global community. We know that a lot of people are going through so many things. And, you know, people that heard this tonight, you know, we sometimes think like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through all of these things? And that's how it tends to happen when it rains, it pours, right? We not just have one big thing happening to us, but many different things. And what I really am thinking right now is that, you know, we take action. We're women of action. We surround ourselves with people that lift us up. We take, you know, you did everything. You didn't just do the whole, you know, cabinet thing, but you started cooking, you know, differently for you and your children. And it's a work in progress. We're all
like getting them involved was very important.
Yeah, and it works in progress, right? Because we're parents, we choose what we buy for our children. We choose what we influence or how we influence for them. And to me, that's really important now, that everyone that is part of this, everyone that is learning about, you know, how antioxidants can change our lives, that's the power that we have. We have the power of influence. We don't have the power to control anything, but we can influence it.
Yes.
And you have influenced me so much, and I am so grateful to not just know you, but, you know, you're my family, and we're doing this together, and we're, you know, moving forward with this big community of wellness and, you know, support. And, you know, with Tanya just being a mentor to us, I don't want to cry, but this is really powerful. And it just speaks to the human experience. And Mike, you know, thank you for providing this way for us, not just, you know, here, but globally. So I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for you to have you here, strong, and, you know, we're women in progress.
Thank you.
And we can do it. We can do it
Thank
together.
I do want to. I would be remiss. I'm trying to type this and say it at the same time. That was very touching, Vivi, and it's very sincere. I hope that if some of you are listening, and those of us that are on MS support groups or lupus support groups, to put this link up. You know, we haven't really started. We don't have these podcasts out on Apple yet or Google platforms, but we are getting upwards of 1,000 to 1,500 views a week of people seeking information. So please feel free to share this in Facebook and other social media communities. But what Vivi just said, I think, is really a place for us to stop and say, you know, we all hear MLM and we all hear network marketing. But what I hear over and over every day with the team that I've assembled of, you know, 35 people or so, and with the team that I know from working with Mike, we're building that community of people who have suffered, right? They've had health conditions, they've had financial upheavals, they've had health and personal trauma. And the one thing that we're learning, by strengthening our body on a cellular level, we strengthen our lives in every way. And I'm going to say that again, because that's the way I share this product. When you strengthen your body on a cellular level, you strengthen your life in every way. You strengthen your mood, you strengthen your relationships, you strengthen your financial earning power. What this company, IQMK Global, what this product has done, and what the people who have nurtured me for 7 months have done is nothing short of healing. And so if somebody rolls their eyes when I say, in all transparency, this is an MLM, and they roll their eyes, I say, really, it's your loss. I'm not going to convince you it's your loss, because I have gained so much. I worked in hospitals for 30 years, and my friends that know me from that say, Tanya, turn me on to what you're doing. There's such joy in you these days, and it can't be healthcare. And I said, but it is. It's a type of healthcare.
Very stressful right now in the healthcare industry. Very
much so. Well, I want to make sure I talk a little bit about our Orlando meeting again. For those that, you don't have to be an eye partner. I know that every week I have some followers from Facebook and from LinkedIn that question me about things. You don't have to be an eye partner. We are having a conference January 13th through the 15th in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Bring your family, let them chill by the pool, and then you can go to Disney when it's over. But it's going to be a series of training events, networking events, and empowerment experiences, as well as entertainment and prizes and things that as grown-up kids we love, right? But more importantly, I just want to say that you need to register, and you can register by going to, I know, Mike, you can put the address up. There you go. You're so good at this. www.iqmkevents.com. And if you put Orlando 75, the $299 is all it costs for you to attend. The rooms are only $95 a night. That $299 is reduced by $75 if you use that code I just gave you. And that includes your meals, includes all your materials, an amazing reception, and most importantly, at least because I'm helping to plan it, is this gala that recognizes what we're doing for each other and what we're doing for our communities. And that will have music, Kino, Big Mountain. It will be a most extraordinary couple of days. So please, while airfares are pretty much under $200 from anywhere around the country, get your tickets, come on in, and be prepared for Vivi and for Dominique. They're just not just business development stars, but stars as human beings. And I just, for those of you that are IQMK folks, especially these monumentally motivated Filipinos, we want to be 5 stars so that we can really shine in health, not just wealth. So, Vivi, I'm going to let you thank Dominique, because I know you're just so tied there. And to close us out for this week, we are not, and you can share this too, Vivi, we are skipping next week. We need to do some stuff. I'm also going to be in West Africa, and Vivi has some things that she needs to do. But the following week, we're bringing the Philippines on and talk about another autoimmune disease in many respects. The one that's killing millions, which is diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So I'm turning it over to you, Vivi. Thank you, everyone. I'm loving this more and more every week. Thank you.
Well, just thank you from the bottom of my heart, sis, for being on this journey with me, with everyone. And I'm sending you a big virtual hug to amazing women and to everyone that's connected today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this amazing journey. And we hope to see you not this week, but the following week. To learn more and grow our community, please share this podcast and stay healthy. And we really just wish you the best. So enjoy your week.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And just want to say, just like Vivi said, we don't have to do it alone, especially we have all the information here. So join us and let's become a family. We all could heal together. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone. Have a good new week.